And one. Rise and shine, everybody. It's time for Teal Town after breakfast. Hope you have your coffee because you're going to need it after this one. And good morning, everybody. It is January 15th, 2024. Oh, yeah, that cup of coffee is really going to work out. Or for me, it's that good old OJ with the tater tots and French toast. We welcome you to our very first ever Teal Town after breakfast as the Sharks get shut out 3-0 to the Buffalo Sabres. If you want to be part of the show, here's how you do it. Chat with us and fellow hockey fans all over the world and in Sharks territory on the YouTube page or the app. And, of course, follow us on all of our social. Find everything at tealtownusa.com. If you want to support the pod, you can do so here on the Super Chat or hit us up on Venmo at tealtownusa. And with that, I will come to Jules and ask you, good morning, and how many cups of coffee have you had so far?
Just one, but it wasn't enough to make me want to not go back to sleep during that fucking game.
Oh, boy. And don't worry, folks, we'll have traffic on the 8s and weather right after that, of course, for you on this broadcast. Let's just put it this way. We're not in Buffalo. Let's just put it that way. So the Sharks' first ever foray, this is easily the Sharks' earliest start in franchise history on North American soil at 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 noon out on the East Coast where they were situated. Jules, it's for me as a Wheel of Fortune alumni, it is a Biaval goaltender matchup between Kaapo Kahkonen and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen.
And one of those goalies had a shutout, and it wasn't Kaapo.
Yeah, the Sharks had lost 13-14 coming in. They had that tragic loss against the Senators with just a few seconds left. Buffalo lost to Vancouver 1-0. Yes, that's the best team in the NHL. You know, Vancouver Canucks. They sit out 9 points out of a playoff spot.
They have 5 All-Stars.
Vancouver? No, yeah. I couldn't tell. It's like Vancouver has 5 All-Stars. How many is Toronto? Like 5 as well?
4.
4? Cool.
Yeah. It's going to be, Vancouver's taking over Toronto. There you go. I don't want to talk about this game. Keep going, puck guy. My bad.
I mean, let's be honest. There wasn't a whole lot to talk about early on. Yeah, I mean, it's just that first period, the Sharks look like they got out to an early start. Like they got a nice little jump. They had their Tim Hortons and just jumped out onto things. It was tied 8-8 shots after 20 minutes, but they seemed like they had a little bit of a jump, which, for me or you or many Sharks fans waking up, not quite just yet in the morning.
I mean, they had a jump, but they just cannot convert for the life of them. And they keep on passing up on like easy shot opportunities also. Duke had a very rough game. Hurdle had a very rough game. Eklund had a kind of rough game. Actually a rough game in my opinion. Just everyone had Vlasic was just put him back in the stands, please. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Quinn just massively changes up. Like, I'm curious what benchings are coming tomorrow.
Yeah.
And how many people are going to be mad about it.
Well, the thing is, when you get shut out for the 7th time this season, and as you see on the scroll right now, 6th-time shutout on the road, which ties a franchise record with the original team of 91-92 and the just win a game team of 2011-12, it's unacceptable.
I mean, we're only halfway through the season, and they already have 7 shutouts.
Yeah, one, I mean, if you want to do
They're
some
on
math,
pace for like 14, 13 shutouts.
I mean, this team is absolutely, I mean, they it's frustrating to see, and then you go off on it because you see them passing. I think I remember on the power play in the third period, LeBanc has a golden opportunity to take a shot, but instead he does the cross ice pass over to Zadina, which is stopped. I'm like, guys, be a little greedy. Be a hint of Erik Karlsson. Think of yourself first. Take that shot, because it's like these guys are afraid that, oh God, we don't want to shoot. We don't want to shoot, and it's gonna hurt them in the long run.
What else can we say? Like, I thought this offense would be better, and the defense is what's gonna let them struggle. Like, offense just has been garbage this entire year, arguably. Like, the players that Mike Greer brought in have not worked out. And like Steve Rector is saying in the chat, like, it's not even, some games are fun to watch. The past 15 games have not been fun to watch. Even the win versus Montreal, that was not a fun game to watch per se. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we'll keep watching, because times will get better. Like, but right now they're just they're in no man's land.
Yeah. Burge is starting to lose hope. The Sharks officially will not finish with more than 100 points this season. The best they can do is 99. Which,
give me more than 50 and I'll be happy.
Which I think we might be starting to get on the verge of being the Sharks getting into the eliminated, which is very.
They still have playoff hopes? You're kidding.
Yeah, I mean,
they can just eliminate them now. Like, okay, listen, someone just on the chat says 43 point. How bad were the Avs the year they got McKinnon? Wasn't it like 46, 48?
Yeah.
They're worse than that team.
Yeah. Felix in the chat, Puckguy and Jules, even the PWHL games this year have been far better than the Sharks of late. LMAO.
Well, go women in hockey, first of all.
Heck yeah.
Fucking love that league. Second of all, yeah, but a lot of teams right now are more fun than the Sharks. Like, the Ducks are more fun than the Sharks right now because they have a fun offense brewing and you can see the pieces. Right now, a lot of the Sharks pieces are not in San Jose. I will say that. Like, a lot of the future core are not in San Jose right now. They are off demolishing their own separate leagues, Felix. Playoffs.
Playoffs?
What are playoffs? Do you need to get in those?
I would love to. I mean, that's what the Niners are about to be. Playoffs. Remember when there were like game sevens?
Did somebody say
Game 7?
You last mentioned Vegas Game 7. I'm about to ruin them.
But I mean, we can talk about the goals here really quick from Buffalo. Just how, you know, I mean, I'm gonna pull this screenshot up. It's like Duclair has a turnover, and he's not moving. You know, Granlund's basically having to try to cover half the ice when Middlestat is taking that shot, and Vlasic is just trying to do a poke check. And
was their first goal? Okay, yeah, I will say this: Kaapo should have had that shot. That was kind of an ugly one to give up, the first goal. But what the fuck is Duclair doing here? Like, I would not be surprised if he was benched next game. And I've said that about multiple players already, not even 10 minutes into this fucking podcast. What are you doing?
But this is the thing here. You know, part of these guys were to help the young core and get some scoring. And you're seeing the efforts like this.
I don't want this effort to be helping our next young core, like, of promising young players. Like, I don't want Musty doing this when he gets into this league. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so I don't know. I've been up and down on Duke, and not just to pick on Duke. Like, everyone has had a bad game today. Like, I think Granlund arguably had the best game. And yeah, I believe Farrar was out-muscled on some of the plays, but Farrar also had some positive moments in this game. I will say this. I don't remember what period, but he kind of out-muscled two guys and got the puck up. I don't know. Everyone had a bad game. Bless Granlund. But this was just a bad effort all around, I think.
Yeah, even Felix saying Kaapo should have had that save, yes, but Jesus, the loose coverage on that goal, yeah. And it's tough to see. And then you see the Steve Rector, you're not wrong. I mean, I was kind of seeing some love from LeBanc online saying, when LeBanc has one of the better forwards the past couple of games, it means you're trouble. That used to be a nice thing.
People are forgetting LeBanc is good. I don't know what the fuck happened to him, but LeBanc's a good player. He just kind of needs to be surrounded by the right people. But he's a good player, so I'm glad he's coming on. But you're right, he has been one of the best forwards, and when you have guys like Hurdle on your team, that's a little concerning.
Yeah, and I get Kevin saying, how can anybody say he should have had that? The play should have been a lot better up front, defensively.
No, and I'm not saying that. Yeah, no, I will agree. Yeah. But I don't know. I'm not blaming the goaltending. This isn't goaltending's fault by any stretch. The defense up front is just garbage. But I've said that, we've all said that multiple times throughout the whole season.
On the power play, it would be former Vegas Golden Knight Alex Tuch magically recovering from a high stick to set up that power play, sneaking in. Hurdle. His stick play was rough. In fact, I think one of our Twitter followers even was commenting on the GIF from this, saying, Hurdle stick play has been really atrocious lately, especially on this play. But you have all four penalty killers, looking at the puck.
They're all
handler.
Puck watching.
Yeah.
Look at where all of their fucking eyes are. They're on the puck. They're forgetting there's Darlene, then there's Tuch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Darlene could have also easily moved into that open space. They just leave too much space, and so people can just slide it, and Kaapo has no shot.
Yeah. And meanwhile, you also have Tage Thompson, if it ever gets a cross-ice pass, wide open for a one-timer there.
He's just standing in the Ovi position.
Yeah.
He's pulling a Haltman also. Haltman also does that. He just stands there, and he's like, I'm waiting. Yeah.
So that would end up making it 2-0, and a tough one because Kahkonen played fairly well in this game, especially in the third period where the Sharks were getting completely stuck in their own zone again. I mean, they were outshot in the third, 17-8 in the third period, where Buffalo was pouring it on while the Sharks.
Mind you, they were down 2-0 for most of that period.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure the Women's Hockey League, could beat the Sharks right now. Gonna put that out there. Any one of those teams right now.
I want to say, and I'm going to be a little biased in being a big fan of Team Minnesota. Former Sharks commentator Kendall Coyne Schofield is on that team, along with Luke Kunnen's
Taylor
wife.
Hayes is so good.
Oh,
love her. Oh, baby.
And Sophia Kunnen. I think
the better Kunnen.
Yeah. Wow. I wasn't gonna go there, but I think that she has the same amount of goals since the PWHL launched.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Listen, I think we're all frustrated at this point with this team.
Yeah.
But I know it is a rebuild, but I think Felix tweeted it. This is kind of rough even for a rebuild. I don't think Greer envisioned this team being this bad.
Yeah.
I don't think he built this team to be this bad. So I think even in Greer's mind right now, there are some alarm bells going off. Because you've had 2 10-plus game losing streaks, and the wins you've had you barely scraped onto them.
Yeah.
The one convincing win you had was 5-0 over St. Louis, and I would argue St. Louis just had a bad game that game.
Yeah, and it's just painful to see.
The defense is just garbage. The goaltending is probably the one bright spot right now, but
and yet people are going to look at that minus 93 goal differential and ask yourself,
we're
really?
halfway through the season.
And that's the thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Greer and Quinn are both kicking trash cans, but what can they do? Greer make a trade? who has value? Who are you gonna put in that's gonna help spark this team?
That's the big thing right there. They were hoping for Hoffman to be a big contributor, to be a
Go
trade
to the
asset there.
moon, Hoffman. He's not been that since he left Ottawa.
And the thing is that he was scratched today for Sabrin.
Yeah,
That should
they
tell
were
you
at
something.
Brit.
That should tell you something big time there. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. The replacement projects also haven't worked, but yeah.
Yeah, the reclamation from Jesse L. Greer's plan to take reclamation projects and turn them into picks, but they've completely failed to be tradable assets. So you're left with an unwatchable hockey and a failed plan. And
Yeah. I mean, some of those guys I think have a little value. It's probably just not as high Greer wanted them to be, but listen, we're almost there. That's all. We're almost there, people. And it will get better. Maybe not this year. Maybe not next year. But in 2026.
maybe. I know AJ's getting quotes right now, but I'm looking on our Twitter to get them. Hurdle saying we have to put up more shots, get around the net, screen the goalie. We need to be more hungry. Yes, you're Sharks. It would be nice to have that. To have a hunger to score offensively. And Hurdle agreeing with what we've been saying, a good start. We had a good start and a lot of good chances, but we have to score. You can't win if you don't score. We just can't bury them. And
yeah, because you're not shooting it.
And that's tough.
Yeah.
Cunnin score more goals and win hockey games. What they need to do to win. Well, wow, I didn't know that. In life, as in hockey, it takes goals to win. Quinn also going with, I think we're in the mindset of we're not going to shoot unless we're going to score. You can't have that mentality, guys. That's just awful. It's tough. Another one from Quinn. You get numbers and you don't even get off a shot. It can be deflating. It's frustrating to lose in general, but special teams is a game within the game, and they won that battle. Yeah, and, it's. I mean, looking at it today, you have the Sharks going 0 for 2 on the power play. Buffalo scored on their first power play with the Tuck power play goal in there. It's just, a few years ago, heck, even maybe a year or two ago, this was one of the better PK teams in the NHL where you could, if there was one place you can do the proverbial hang your hat on, Jules.
It was the PK. It was fabulous. And I will say this, now they are 117 without Sturm. I'm going to repeat that stat. 1 win and 17 losses without Nico Sturm.
Yeah.
Like, what does that guy bring? I think we all know. I think when Sturm, I mean, I'm not making excuses for this team, but you gotta think they need Sturm back ASAP because I don't think they can function without him. And I don't you know what I mean? They are 1-17 without a third line, fourth line center. I don't know what that says about this team, but it's nothing good. Props to Sturm, but
Yeah. LT1, I think this is the first time I've seen you in here, so thank you for joining us. Everyone embrace the tank, trade the vets for whatever package or for whatever you get, package the picks for higher picks. It's simple. Is it simple if they're going to all be 7th round picks?
I don't think they're all going to be. Listen,
that's the tough part, I mean, and I'm kidding around, but you're hoping to get something out of this. And right now, Pittsburgh doing their job at 13th overall.
I will say this: what Lacey put in the chat.
Sorry.
They suck at having puck possession. They cannot have puck possession in their zone for maybe more than 2 minutes, less probably. You got to have possession to shoot. They don't have possession. They don't have any of that.
Yeah.
they just don't. They never have the puck to be able to even get the puck on net, and when they do, it's off of rush chances, which then they pass up and they pass to another guy. That guy doesn't expect the pass, and the puck's back in their own zone. What do you expect for them to win like that? Fuck no.
No, and in saying the puck possession is the tough part. You know, you got to play hard. I know they want a physical game, but they also need an offensive game. To be quite honest, and defensively they struggled as well. I mean, I'm not going to say rebuild the rebuild, but they need to get core pieces in, and this is the tough part right now, and we have to deal with it.
The core pieces are coming. That's the thing. They just haven't arrived yet, and Eklund cannot carry the load by himself. Neither can Hurdle.
And you were talking about it in the third period. Eklund needs a goal badly. He hasn't scored since the I believe it was
the Winnipeg game.
Yeah, where he got the game-winning goal. So he's gone now, 15 straight without a goal?
Again, he has that snake bit rookie season in the midseason where it's his first actual full NHL season, and also he's not been playing that well. I gotta admit, I think it was Mark who tweeted out, we can't keep being super kind to Eklund, and I'm one of those people, I will admit it, but he's just had some rough games, not producing. Today on the empty netter, he just kind of got pushed off the puck. Lazy play. It's 3-0.
And that was the concern with Eklund being selected. Is he is a skinnier, faster player. He has a speed, he has a skill, but can he be beaten in this NHL player or in this NHL world? That's the worst part of it at all. So,
but again, Eklund cannot carry the brunt right now. He can't come in and be a Connor Bedard where he's gonna carry your offense per se. He's just not that type of player. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, and
he's just not that type of player. and that's no I'm not dunking on the guy. I think we can all admit Eklund's not Connor Bedard who can come in and carry your offense and give Jason Dickinson 8 goals.
Well, yeah,
he's not that guy.
Yeah, and Dave mentioning there's tanking that we should deal with, and you're absolutely right. And maybe it'll be the same. And then there's this. Yeah, and you're not wrong on there. It's just.
Dave, no one was coming for him, but even him on the bench, you look at him and he literally shook his head at his own play. I get what you're saying. Yes, there is some, but I don't know, whatever. But yeah.
So the Sharks lose this one 3-0. As we mentioned earlier at the top of the program, it is the 7th time the Sharks have been shut out this season. The 6th time on the road. They match the 91-92 and the 2011-12 team for most shutouts on the road in one season. And now begins the Celebrini Bowl weekend as we begin the 2-game set first with Chicago. That is Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. out here on the West Coast. And, of course, Saturday where the Sharks will have Aloha summer shirt giveaway night in the middle of Niners and Packers. About 10-15 minutes from each other.
How many people are going to be at that game? Well, not many.
I will see you at the tank. I think AJ is going to be there.
No, I meant with the one with the Niners. Or is it not at the tank that game? Oh no,
it's at the tank.
Oh, it's at the tank. Okay.
It's at the tank and also in Santa Clara. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think the Sharks are getting on the plane right now and getting the heck out of Buffalo as quickly as they can. In fact, they did get in roughly late last night. I think it was in the middle of Pucknologist when the guys landed. That's a tough turnaround, and you could have used the excuses of that, of being like, okay, we got in around 10 o'clock last night, come back and play a game at 12 noon. That's the thing. And and Jared, you're right, and it's been like that for a lot lately. The way Clint looks in interviews is a telltale sign. He looks deflated and defeated, and Kevin's saying, better hope the Sharks lose the next 2 games.
Whatever. Like, yes and no, but at this point,
yes,
I know. Yes, but also if they get shut out to the Connor Bedardless Blackhawks, I think people are gonna start exploding Lacey.
Oh, exploding is one word to say the least. It's just been,
I'm trying to be nice.
Yeah, no. If they lose Tuesday night,
like, I love the Tank. This team, they're at the end of the day, they are humans. They are players. They need a win.
Yeah,
at least one. Then go back to tanking.
Yeah, I mean, me and Mark going to be here for that on Tuesday, following Sharks and Blackhawks. Simply 2 wins means no more last place and only 2 points behind Anaheim. This is what tanking is.
Are they that bad? I have not checked the standings.
Oh, the standings? Oh.
How far off are they?
So right now the Sharks sit at 23 points. Anaheim does have 2 games in hand. And Anaheim's at 29. Chicago has played 1 less game, so they have a game in hand on the Sharks, and they're at 26 points at 12, 29, and 2. The Sharks have their 31st loss of the campaign. They have more losses than anybody else has wins.
How many
in the
wins
NHL.
do the Panthers have?
Florida? Florida has 27. They're at 27, 13, and 2, and I believe they have the most. Yeah. Them and the Rangers. Oh, no, I take that back. Winnipeg has 28 and Vancouver has 29. So you have that on there.
Did somebody say
Vancouver?
And yeah, tanking does not guarantee one. And I know that. Like, we all know that. And we all joke about Bedard going to the Blackhawks. But not Bedard, my bad. Celebrini, Jesus.
No, they could have said the same anyways, too, because that was, it's like NHL doing a wonderful job helping rebrand the Chicago Blackhawks franchise. Can't wait for them to be in the Winter Classic next year.
They're not going to rig it to go into San Jose's favor. I will say this, though. Even if they miss out on one, there are other prospects that I really like, and I think that, like, are worth mentioning. There's some high-end, like, defensive guys who I think have really high upside.
Why do share, since we should transition to a great segue for the prospects. Go right ahead.
I mean, Levishnov is a Michigan State defenseman. He's probably the top-rated defenseman in this draft. Yzerman's stock has been falling off a cliff for some odd reason. I know the reason, but like his stock has been falling. But yeah, I mean, there are some. Boyum, I don't know if you guys watch World Juniors, but for those who did, Boyum I really want with that Pittsburgh pick for the Sharks to pick him up. Caden Lindstrom is a guy whose also stock has been rising. I think he's a 6'5" center. Constance Helenius is another center. So there are other options that I do like. Celebrini is definitely the prized possession. But like, it really depends where the Sharks land. Like, if the Sharks land second overall, there's going to be a good player there for them to select. Whether that's if they decide to take Yzerman or go a defensive route, which honestly, I think if they fall to second, they might go with the high-end defenseman, because if you look at the Sharks prospect pool, they'd be lacking in that area.
They need it. And now, you were talking about, as we were coming on, Haltonen's been on a run lately.
Haltonen's on a 17-game point streak, I believe. Mind you, that guy basically gets a lot of his goals on the power play, so I will say that. He definitely might become a power play specialist. Let's hope he can round out the rest of his game. Will Smith had a good weekend playing against Providence. He had, I think, 3 goals and 1 assist. So he's starting to come on, and, we're starting to see that from him. Oh, sorry, before I forget, Demidov. Yeah, another guy I really like. Thank you. Who else? Luca Cagnoni is back to being his ridiculous self. He has the same amount of points as Quentin Musty does. I don't know if it's in as many games, but Luca Cagnoni has been really fun. 46 points in 36 games. But yeah, so the Sharks prospects had a really good week. Beasted, I believe, also had a goal. Dushin had a goal, even though the Barracuda are almost as painful to watch as the Sharks, maybe worse. But yeah. And it is a good defenseman draft. I really like the defenseman. Sam Dickinson is another guy who actually plays right now with Haltonen. Yeah.
Yeah, Musty. As I look at elite prospects, 5 goals, 4 points, 9 points. Excuse me. Let me try it again.
What?
In his last 10, 5 goals, 4 assists, 9 points in there, and then you have him, in 28 games, 46 points. So I think
he's gonna come along. I would expect them probably to send him back. He might he might get his 9 games next year and then get sent back for an overager season is my guess with Musty. But again, a lot of the Sharks' next core isn't even it is in San Jose right now.
Yeah,
it's that simple.
And you have Mukamadulin and among other defensive prospects.
Well, no, that's not a defenseman. Gushin is not a defenseman.
No.
But you have Mook. I don't know if Gavanke is gonna stick around. I don't even know how old is that guy. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Listen, let's see what happens with this draft lottery. You never know. I don't think the Sharks are gonna end up 8th in this draft. If they do, I might scream.
That will be a that might
Sharks
be a nightmare.
Jared, there's a lot this prospect pool needs right now that needs to be addressed. But my guess is they go center with that top pick, and then they probably go. Depends on, again, if they get first overall, they're taking Salbrini, and then they're probably taking their high end defenseman with that Pittsburgh pick. But it just depends where the dominoes fall. Because I think after first, it's kind of become a who knows what's going to happen in this draft.
It's kind of a crapshoot lately. So. We need to keep our losing ways until the trade deadline, and then we can relax. Spurge 7F91 saying,
I don't think it's going to get better after the trade deadline.
Well, the good thing, and Kevin's mentioning in the chat, the schedule should get a little easier, and it does for the rest of this week, where they get Chicago and Anaheim on there.
I don't think they're beating Anaheim.
So it's been a while since we've done this. We'll play it 5 times. It's time for Tankathon, and everyone. I know you've been missing it. You've been loving it. So
have I been missing this?
Yes.
God.
Let's kill.
And naturally, the Sharks are going to fall to 4th overall.
Yeah. So Sharks with the best odds at the moment. We'll go 3 times. Let's not torment ourselves too much here. All right. So
appreciate it.
All right. And the first one, Columbus and Calgary pop up. Sharks will pick no later than 3. Now, if the Sharks do have the worst record in the league after the end of the season, the worst they could do is number 3.
Case, I'm guessing. Okay, wait, real quick for that last one. Mm-hmm. So if they picked 3, I'm assuming they go defenseman. I'll just put that out there. Maybe Demidov. Not bad.
No, this one, Anaheim.
I would cry.
Yeah. Would go up 2 spots for Anaheim to get Celebrini to go with Cutter and
Gauthier being in the division makes me so upset.
Yeah. So you would say for number 2, what would you say? Would you still
go
Yzerman?
2 is a crapshoot. I don't know. I would say they take Yzerman. People might I don't know. I'm going to be I would think they either go defenseman or Yzerman here, but they also might go center. I feel like there's going to be a center that just pops up to the top of the board. Maybe Lindstrom. But I would say go Yzerman here because he's going to be unreal.
Right. Oh, Jesus. And then for our third one, St. Louis pumps up 10 spots to pick first overall. San Jose would go to number 2. So
yeah, go Yzerman. I think they go Yzerman if they're 2. Again, it's I'm forgetting he's from Boston College. He's going to Boston College. Yeah. I think they go Yzerman if they're at 2, and then If they're at 3, I'm assuming they go high-end defenseman. Probably Levishnov. Go watch Michigan State. You'll see him. So, just in case we don't get Celebrini, I'm going to start bringing up other names.
So, I mean, and that's always a good thing. We'd start looking for the prospect pool in there. So, we will see what happens down the road, and we'll find out starting Tuesday if the Sharks are going to be in the Celebrini Bowl for sure. They take on Chicago. That's a 5:30 start out in the Pacific Coast. And, oh boy. we'll
if
see
they
on that.
lose that game, I'm literally going to lose my mind.
Oh, I'm on it tomorrow, so poor
Have
Mark.
fun.
Poor Mark. So, with that, we will wrap things up. In case you missed anything, or do you want to watch this again, check us out on tealtownusa.com or check us out wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's YouTube, Apple, Google, SoundCloud, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeart, Odyssey. Of course, if you're watching us on the YouTube channel right now, make sure you hit that thumb up button. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. And, of course, hit that notification bell when we do go on the air. We'll be on with Postgame. Of course, you can watch last night's Pucknologist. AJ and Jerk broke down the week that was in Sharks hockey. And, when news breaks, whenever there's a potentially trade or anything, we will be here. So, with that, Jules, it's 12:15. What are we going to do now?
Take a nap. This game made me more tired than I already was when I woke up this morning. This team, no. I mean, it's gonna get better. That's all I have to say. It's gonna get better. The Sharks are gonna be better. They need the pieces to start coming. And like teams like Anaheim are a few years ahead of them, and that's probably gonna be obvious when they play them. So, it'll take some time, but I think everything's gonna come together, and hopefully we can get Celebrini, because adding Celebrini would finally, I think, the 1-2 punch of Celebrini and Smith would just.
It would be a boost.
It would be a boost, and I don't think the Sharks are gonna be good in the next season either. So, anywho, there's my 3 pieces.
Just hopefully a matter of time before this team can finally get on the right track and get better.
When's Vlasic's deal up?
We say that, but at the same time, though, I mean, do we want to buy him out? No.
No. Break the lottery.
We wish. We're not Edmonton or Chicago, Jared. My bad.
I mean, he did play for the Junior Sharks, Gary Bettman. So maybe send Celebrini home.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That would be nice. And it would be a great story for sure. So, for Jules, thank you, my dear. Enjoy the rest of your day. I think I'm with you. I think we're going to take a nap right now and rest up before I think we got a full day of football on this Monday. Of course, it is Martin Luther King Day, so we'll be remiss to leave you with this. And I think it's kind of appropriate. We must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. Until then, keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real, teal.